Hello, and a good morning to you. It is a beautiful day out here, and the cardinals are singing. I'm in my backyard. I'm just enjoying the day. It's a sunny day. We've had a couple of days of beautiful sunshine after some rain, and everything's really just nice and green and gorgeous. I feel like sometimes it's a very fitting thing, the start of a day like this with the new life, and everything seems to be emanating from all sorts of different directions. And ONPASSIVE is no different. It's morphed, and there's a lot of us feeling some new vigor with anticipation, of the beginning of the end of what we call pre-launch. So, having said that, and keeping in mind that ONPASSIVE has a spirit, right? Our title for this particular video, I guess, our theme is, and I quote, ONPASSIVE is a beacon of hope for humanity. ONPASSIVE is humanizing businesses, and that is obviously from our fearless leader and CEO, Mr. Ash Mufareh. As he stated a week ago, last Thursday on a webinar, that he was telling us to get ready to be in the best shape of our lives.
Get ready for the greatest shape of your life. Get ready for the greatest shape of your life. No matter how great it's been, it's just going to get better.
Now, in keeping with that, he went on to say that Hyderabad lockdown was lifted, and we are all so grateful for that. And he also said, though, that it wasn't lifted before we realized that the productivity for the staff was up about 150%. And that was a result of them working from home and things that were established because of that. And the staff there is also going to have their vaccinations completed by the end of this month. So that's going to be absolutely wonderful for them. And we certainly appreciate them as we keep them in our prayers for safety and for good health as well. We're also reminded that although ONPASSIVE is made in America and based in the USA, that we are actually a global company, and we have a presence in more than 210 countries, and we've also begun some expansion, outside the U.S., which means new offices with new departments, and some of those departments are going to be having new products, and they're going to be in different countries. So we're continuing to expand everything that we're doing.
ONPASSIVE is a global company. It was established in the United States of America. So by definition, we're an IT, AI, American first company.
Now, in keeping with this new energy or the spirit, maybe I should say, a few days ago, ONPASSIVE set a record that we actually crossed the 700,000 founder account threshold. And next month, in July, the new Go Founders platform is going to come online as Founders, right? It's a part of ONPASSIVE. It's going to represent just one of more than 50 departments, and they're all contained under the ONPASSIVE business umbrella. It's just one of 50 or more, and there's some things about this new site that we can appreciate. First of all, the security on that site, the new Founders site, has been locked down tight. We can also take a good heart, good feeling in knowing that the Founders site is never going to be resold. It's never going to be branded as something else. It's exclusively for us as founders. And this is what Mr. Mufareh had to say about that.
But we decided this will be organic and exclusive to the founders of ONPASSIVE. What a privilege. It will not be available in the market, and what we give you is not going to be available for any other company. Not only that, we're not borrowing anything from us. So it's made from scratch, from the ground up, by our genius employees, okay? And just that alone is a massive value.
Now, that said, ONPASSIVE is the business, right? That's our business, and that's what's being branded. So once OnFounders is live, once Founders is live, the founders are going to have first access to some of the products that are coming out with it. It's going to be presented with the new Founders website. and those are O-Trim and O-Net and O-Mail and O-Tracker. And there's going to be the new ebook, which is incidentally for founders only. And there's a lot more. And all of that has created some excitement as well. Let me go ahead and put out a disclaimer of sorts here. The new ebook is going to be available to active founders only. It's not going to be available to pending founders or prospects or to the public, right? When it comes out, I'm going to be asking for volunteers to translate that new ebook into various languages, any languages that we can, and then we'll submit that back to support for posting. Additionally, keep in mind, please, that our passwords for our accounts, right, the login to the O Founders, is critical to the security of our accounts. Now, Mr. Mufara talked briefly about that last week, too, about changing our passwords frequently, at least once a month or so. So I would ask also that you would take that very, very seriously. And I'd like to also say, true to our spirit, the excitement is continuing to rise as we head into our active soft launch, which is when we may or may not see a founder's price increase, right? I mean, we've been saying for a long time that there's going to be a price increase, but in keeping with Mr. Mufara's vision, for affordability and that sort of thing, doing what's right because it's right, there may not be. But at any rate, rest assured, soft launch, which is going to start the active beta, the active beta to test the money flow through the wallets and the bonuses and such, and the marketing. Can't forget the marketing, which is going to be tested through campaigns, right? And those campaigns are going to have a byproduct of team building. They're going to bring in customers for our founders teams. As I've said in the past few months, my personal opinion is that soft launch is going to be happening, probably in August, toward the third quarter ending this year. But whether it does or not, it's still good to know that the length of our soft launch is becoming moot because ONPASSIVE management is actively discussing ONPASSIVE's hard launch. And for those that are kind of familiar with Hercules, the phrase "release the Kraken" comes to mind to me because ONPASSIVE is a beast, and I truly believe that it's going to be a sight and a celebration to behold. So life is going to be good for every one of us, especially at Founders. Now, that's not only simply because we're a model that has everything, all 50 departments funded under one price, if that's the way people are going with it. But we also have what we call business to business modules, and these are for selling single products or onesies, twosies, kind of, like oat staff, or packages even containing some or all of our products as needed by individual customers or businesses. And this is to say that our products, which are going to be standalones, right, will be available through retail channels, so they'll each have their own separate department and location according to what Mr. Mufar has been telling us. So life again is good.
We're going to have the ONPASSIVE products facility. So example, like OStaff will have its own company, sub-company under the big ONPASSIVE. We will have that as retail.
That means that we're expanding into new offices with new products, and that means more departments in more countries, each of which is going to have a separate company under the umbrella of ONPASSIVE. So with that in mind, this is what Mr. Mufara said, that ONPASSIVE is going to give us more value than any company that's ever existed.
ONPASSIVE will give you more value than any company ever existed.
That we're not like other companies that might take a long time to create or develop products. Obviously, when I talk about time, I'm talking about something that's, in this context is relative to a product base. So this is to say that ONPASSIVE is accomplishing 10 times more, doing it 10 times better, and we're doing it 10 times faster than other companies, all right? Now, put another way, ONPASSIVE is creating superior products and integrating them, that's a good word, integrating them all in a much shorter time than current tech giants are, even though they may have billions of dollars and huge customer bases in their favor, right? And I'm not talking about OnPassive just making applications. We're creating platforms, complete platforms, and complete products for our platforms, otherwise called, departments or businesses that can stand alone as massive revenue centers. Now, incidentally, it'd be good to know that Go Founders, as in O Founders, as a department, is really no different from our other departments. Although temporary, right, until we go live with OnPassive, O Founders, or actually Go Founders, has undergone a complete overhaul, right? As mentioned earlier, when the new platform is brought online, it's going to join the other O themed departments like OConnect and OBlast and OTracker and OTrim and oh my goodness, all of them, right? As O Founders, I love it. I mean, you gotta love it. OnPassive is our business. Go Founders is temporary, and we don't have a need to brand it. And by saying that O Founders is temporary, I'm just saying that it's shutting the doors to collecting more founders once we actually do a hard launch. But to be clear, the big difference between O Founders, the department, and the other departments is that it holds the founder base, which is a limited number of members that join OnPassive before opening publicly, and that OnPassive shares its profits with us, right? The founders, forever. So life is good. Oh, I just dumped my drink. Anyway, we can be sure that everything's going to be done right. Everything's going to be done the right way, and it's going to be done better than most anything else. And like Mr. Mufara said before, how you do anything is how you do everything. And this is to say that we set and we maintain the standard, especially when it comes to all the quality and such, the superior quality and value of OnPassive and everything that we do. And we do that right across the board. So if you're listening and you haven't joined, you would do well to join us now. That's like a no-brainer for you. So anyway, having said that, talking about profit, we're really not focused on numbers, or more specifically, we're not focused on profit. Instead, our focus, right, the focus of OnPassive is always on doing what's right in the creation of substance and superior value for our member base, right, and for the good of humanity. That's what we're doing. We're lifting humanity with what we're doing, and it's through the grace of Mr. Mufara. So, and incidentally, he said we're probably the most positive story in town. Have a listen to this.
We are ONPASSIVE, as we are a beacon of hope for humanity. So make sure you always understand we're probably the most positive story in town. So we are ONPASSIVE, and we are a beacon of hope.
So, with all that going on, we owe everybody a hearty congratulations, right? To management and staff, to our engineers, to the development people, the founders, even, absolutely. All the people that have made the growth of our company OnPassive such a spectacular series of events that have culminated in a journey of a lifetime. And a lot of us felt that way. I know that I have. And I mean, literally, this is a journey of a lifetime for me. And I mean, that we have created a mega company with more than 50 products, 50 departments, right? 50 standalone companies under one umbrella. And by the end of June, OnPassive is going to be the first company, as it should be, mind you, to use OStaff fully for attendance, onboarding, and everything that's HR, right? I mean, it's a very, very advanced system. And OStaff is a complete human resource management system, and we're going to be using it as a customer company, a large company, incidentally, one that's defined as having more than 500 employees, and that is us. So we're going to be the first to use it and to use it fully. But OStaff is, again, it's just one of at least, if not more than 50 departments or 50 businesses that has been created and developed by OnPassive. Now, we've done that in a relatively short time, and it's good to be pointing out here that O Founders is also, again, one of those 50 or so departments. Okay, that's what it is. So right now, we have OnPassive has more than 700,000 member accounts. But now get this, according to Mr. Mufara, which is gospel in my opinion, it was designed to accommodate 4.5 million. Now, the other day, Mr. Mufara let us know that it's never, ever going to be allowed to get anywhere near that number, though I personally am sure we're going to hit at least 1 million. Hey, just as an aside, I keep looking at the Cardinals flying over, and just I love it out here. Man, it's I love it. So if you see me looking off, it's just I'm watching what's going on. Anyway, he's not going to let the number of founders get anywhere near that before we actually launch. So I believe we'll hit 1 million. But as a matter of fact, Go Founders, or actually O Founders, man, it's hard to break that habit, isn't it? O Founders could well be the department inside OnPassive that has the least membership once we get rolling, because each department, each product is expected to have millions, hundreds of millions, eventually billions with a B overall inside of OnPassive, right? Our customers, or users, members. By the number of founders that we get, it's limited. It's like Bitcoin. There's going to be a set amount, and that is that, right? But we need to understand that once we launch, even with founders or O Founders being limited to the number, that is the only thing in OnPassive that is limited, because other than that, OnPassive doesn't believe in limited things. So anyway, that's why we're looking for such high quality founders with an ability for entrepreneurial vision casting, if you will. And we also want them to have a big heart. So if that's you, jump on board. There's a link down below, right? So anyway, moving forward, and even after, maybe even before the soft launch or before the hard launch, but certainly after the soft launch, the OnPassive model, right, the phenomenon of its creation, right, is going to be something that's going to be studied by other people, other businesses, other movers and shakers and gurus in the industry as we move into the first year of activity with a public OnPassive. Now, personally speaking, being very familiar with law of sowing and reaping, or law of attraction, or whatever you want to call it, I tend to think that our success, Mr. Mufara's success, is one that's divinely orchestrated. I think that we have that simply because we're not concentrating, or we're not focusing, we're not spending a lot of energy on how much money we can make for the company or for a few in the company, but rather we're focusing on creating value for the masses, right? I really hope you're getting that. We're focused on providing massive value, and that just means that we're not wasting a lot of time or a lot of thought, or more specifically, a lot of energy on how much we're going to personally profit. It doesn't enter that much into the equation, right? So some of us maybe are, right? I mean, but I also believe that Mr. Mufara's intent and the purity of his motivation has accelerated this, and that's why we're doing so well, and that's why we've gotten the momentum that we've got. Of course, it doesn't hurt to know that, like Mr. Mufara says, we're working smart. And the other day, last Thursday, he used the acronym SMART, SMART, as a management tool, where he said that the projects have got to be specific, they've got to be manageable, they've got to be achievable, they've got to be realistic, and they've got to be time bound. And I love that. So smart, we're working smart, right? Doing it this way provides OnPassive with multiple cat mode solutions. And you remember cat mode, right? Complete automation with traffic and money, right? All under one umbrella. Mr. Mufara simplifies it like this.
So we give you one single login to manage your entire business or your personal life, however you choose. One cost, and you don't have to look out. End of the story. That's what ONPASSIVE is.
So anyway, all of it's a part of a process that's happening right now, And this is to say that there's discussions occurring about the very real hard launch of OnPassive. All right, albeit there's only a few people, and this was something Mr. Mufara brought up too. Was there's only a few people that have details concerning this, but it should lighten our step. It should fill our heart to know that those discussions are taking place. This is what Mr. Mufara said.
The biggest reason I'm excited, we are already on the discussion, okay, and the planning and working on the event of launching ONPASSIVE, the main ONPASSIVE. It will be something you've never seen in your life, never in a company that you've witnessed the launch event, the celebration, the ceremony, okay, of launching ONPASSIVE.
And as long as I'm on this subject, I'd like to tell you that there's going to be something that, with the OnPassive launch that you have never seen in your life. You've never seen it before with the company. And that's simply because it's going to have superior technology. It's going to be financially superior. It's going to promote and give the biggest value. And once again, I love these clips with Mr. Mufara, right? Mr. Mufara says it this way.
Okay, OnPassive will give you more value than any company that you ever paid money to. All right, in a way, you pay money for food, you get what you pay for. All right, but OnPassive will give you more than what you pay for, more than you expect, will over deliver. Is it getting there anyway? What I'm trying to say that OnPassive will be the company that will give you the most value for what you expect, or what a typical company that existed so far in our entire history. Okay, so that's been said, buckle up.
And that's all simply because, as we mentioned earlier, OnPassive is a beacon of hope. OnPassive is humanizing businesses. And you might say, well, I've heard you, but how is he doing that? Well, think about this. Regular businesses provide the least value for the most return, period. But you know what? OnPassive is not that. We provide the most value to users with relatively little return to the company. Mr. Mufara's ultimate goal is not to become the richest man in the world. We've heard that before, right? I'll be the first one to admit, okay, we've all got bills to pay, and we don't have to be a billionaire to do that. So, of course, if that's your goal, you want to be a billionaire, millionaire, go for it, But OnPassive, by Mr. Mufara's own words, is not about making him crazy rich, absolutely crazy rich. It's about spreading the wealth that flows through OnPassive through a decentralization for the benefit of humanity, for the benefit of others. And I don't mean a few. I use the word humanity. I'm talking about a global scale, about lifting humanity. And something else, as long as I'm on it, and this came from Mr. Mufara too, and you got to appreciate it, you're not going to find a platform for religion in OnPassive. You're not going to find religion in some people might, but there won't be a platform for it, okay? You're not going to find any politics, and you're not going to find a whole lot of, a bunch of other drama either. You will find business solutions that are going to complement and enhance your life, solutions that are going to provide something to you that will be extremely meaningful, and we're in a race to produce them. Okay, we're running the race. It's a good race. We're out for the prize, but it's one race, the human race. It's a race that you can join, and you know what? You can win, because we are all, as Mr. Mufara says, winning together. So I'm telling you, if you've never seen, or actually I'm telling you, you have never seen a company launch with the ceremony and celebration that you're going to see with OnPassive when OnPassive launches and starts pulling out all the stops. That celebration of that launch of OnPassive is going to be something that you are going to remember, and you're going to keep for posterity, all right? You're going to be showing your kids, okay? And for those of you that are founders listening to this, it is very possible that you can play a role in what is happening in that opening celebration. So do not get distracted, right? We're closing in on it. Now, we really didn't know when it was going to come, because we've never done anything like this. Nobody has. Nobody has ever done anything like what we're doing, and we had no way to reference it, right, or reference the timeline for it. So, like I said before, we're talking about details and preparations for the hard launch. They're in discussion. The hard launch. Man, what a joy, right? What a precious time in life this should be for us right now as we move in to that which is considered the ending of our pre-launch, right? And you can be a wonderful part of this wonderful, wonderful adventure. Now, I want you to know, if you've been invited, please contact the founder that invited you to join. If not, we would love to have you with us. I would love to have you in my team. Just please click the link in the description box below, regardless of what you do, you know, what you and your family are planning to do. Just know that you and your family are important, and that we wish blessing and blessing upon you and upon your family for everything that you got going for your future. I appreciate you listening to this. I hope you have a wonderful day, and thank you so very, very much.
Two more important facts here. Okay, number one, whatever we have ready to, it's more than you ever thought you would have in your life for the cost. Up until now, that you have to know this, okay? So, and the second piece of it is, it's not that it's functional, dysfunctional, that you need it or anything. It just, for us, is stacking the cool or delivering a higher quality and adding more features or securing more. That's nothing less of a phenomenon, nothing less of a super business, nothing less of that. So is it ready as of now? What we have in OnPassive, okay, for the cost that it is, I promise you, you have not seen any business, or you probably have never dreamt in your life, not myself, to have a business that I can be a partner, I can receive a benefit by using that product financially, not only the time I'm going to save in my life every day, 2 3 hours wasted on broken applications. That's not going to happen. Number one, it's one place, so you're not going to have to hop around. Number two, it runs on autopilot. We do the work. So it's going to save you a ton of time and money, and it's more value than you've ever received in one place. No company is going to give you that much value. No company. I mean, I don't know how to tell you that. I have to keep my tone. No company on the face of earth is giving you the value that OnPassive is giving you and will give you. No company on the planet that we live on, okay? Not talking about aliens, that will give you the value that OnPassive is going to give you. I'm going to repeat, probably you missed that. No company that I know or you know that is going to give you so much value for one business or for one transaction. I think you didn't get me. Okay. Listen, no company that you or I know ever existed in the history of any market that will give you so much value just because you're cute or for being in. 5 more times. Let's do that again. I'm not going to do it. I think you get my point. There's no company ever is going to give you that much value. So we have to be the most valuable company to you, therefore your family or your well-being in a way.